wait, though.
Ellie Peck certainly knows her beasts. Stopped me from blindly buying Measle fur when she knew that what I needed was Niffler fur.
Would do without her. Voice of reason under the reign of that clueless headmaster. They're lucky to have her.
I think we can all agree that what muggles lack in magical ability, they make up for in tea. Oh, great.
It was a win that passed.
I'm well suited to counting money. I'd love a job at Gringotts if I didn't have to take one of those rickety carts around the place. Nearly vomited first time I rode
Poor
one.
Mr. Ollivander seemed to spend more time cleaning up his shop from errant wand casts than actually selling the things. Change.
No need for sleeping draft for me. Proper day's work and I sleep like a baby moon calf.
I so enjoy chatting to Thomas Brown, but I'll never understand his fixation with Muggle Christmas carols. Perhaps it's the antiquated language that fascinates him, or the melodious dins. I will say that I was relieved to have our family alphabet when I was younger.
I overheard some students talking about Professor Ronan's teaching games. Sounds very clever. Charming man, Ronan. Wish I'd had him when I was in
The
Hogwarts.
work it takes to keep a clean house is staggering, even with magic. Can't imagine how Muggles get by without that.
That's what the authorities are for, they say. Why, try finding one.
Not a day goes by I don't wish I paid better attention in defense against
I could
the dark
chat
arts.
cannons a thing or two about proper chasing form.
Now more than ever.
Hiring wizard kind constant battle with other beings. Tempting to simply go and live amongst the muggles for a change. My mother conjured anything my daughter wanted. Almost about what she did. As a bit of a rude awakening.
You'll not cast successfully if you don't first see it happen in your own mind.
Wizards these days that make Emmerich the Evil look like Yorick the Oddball.
I wish I paid more attention when I was at Hogwarts.
Would cast Flipendo on a cow. Something indispensable.
Never can decide
Where to go for the butterbeer, the hog's head, or the three broomsticks. Both have their charms, to be sure. Of course, it's always a treat to see Serona, so the three
They
broomsticks
don't seem
usually
to
wins
get
out.
along well, do they, Muggles? So many rules.
When I need to replenish
Not like
my
wizard
herbology
kind.
supplies, I go to Timothy
We're
Teasdale
far
for the
more
magic
civilized.
Easier on my nerves than dogweed and death, Captain. Less
When you
poison
find a
than
good
fun.
opportunity, it's wise to seize it with both hands.
Levioso and Stupefy combined.
We treated our house elf quite well. She had her own chambers. They were in the cellar, but you could still
Not
see
saying I
they
don't
were her
cast the
very
odd
own.
cleaning spell when no one's looking.
Who needs keys when you know Alohomora?
I did see Professor Weasley in the village recently.
Not a
If
fan of the
something
Hog's Head
threatened
in
me,
myself.
First thing I cast is
Shady won't
potato.
lurking about
I've
most
been
of the time.
spellcraft with some of the new students.
Chores aren't so bad.
Augustus Hill
I don't
has
mind the
such
odd one without
talent.
magic.
Just the other day, I heard him talking a woman out of a hat that
I
would have
so
most
enjoy chatting
certainly
to Thomas
brought
Brown,
out
but
all
I'll
of
never
her worst
understand his
features.
fixation with Muggle Christmas.
Astonishing,
Buy that
really.
in a shop owner.
That apart from those lucky enough to have a witch or wizard in
Or
the family,
melodious dins.
the Muggle world has never truly
I will say
realised
that
we
I was
exist.
relieved to have our family help about when I was younger.
Kept me from
I
having to
sometimes
clear the
stop into
doxies
Madame
from the
Snelling's
curtains
just to
each
see how
spring.
Calliope has done her hair that day. She's brilliantly creative.
Oh,
That's what the although authorities possibly are for, somewhat they say. impractical. Huh. Try finding one.
There's nowhere like Ronco's blind.
You'd think
knowing
for others,
cells would simplify
Well,
self.
did you know they go on about your children? Makes me grateful for my loyal crop.
No need to
Just
worry
saying
about
it out
anyone
loud tickles
ever
me.
activating the trace at my house. Can't get my children to lift a finger, let alone a wand.
Listening to you lot go on about your children makes me grateful for my loyal
We're
crop.
witches and wizards. We can conjure almost anything we need whilst barely lifting a finger.
I heard that the Black Phone, as in Phineas Nigella,
Flipendo
Sentinels
might
have
seem
never
like
had
harmless fun,
issues for wizard
but not
kind,
when you've
have
just
they?
had your hair done by Calliope Snelling.
family.
I was taught that if you put in a good
Hengist
effort,
of
you'll reap the
Woodcroft
reward.
certainly knew how to plan a
Lacking
city.
is its own Quidditch team.
I don't see why everyone has their wand in a knot about the dark arts. It's pushing the boundaries of magic.
I so rarely see any of the Hogwarts professors about the
Tried to have a
village.
chat with
Do
Ellie
you?
Peck the other day.
Perhaps
He
they
did
need
some
a reprieve from the
mooncaster.
students as much
Very
as the
nice
students
young
do
lady.
from them.
Could I get her to stop talking about
Can't imagine
woofers
how
and
I'd have
diricles?
felt as a boy if my headmaster cancelled Quidditch.
Thinks highly of himself, doesn't he? Also seems to enjoy more than a dram of fire whiskey.
Ah, the secret is do the hard work first and let the easy bits take care of themselves.
Far back as I can recall, everyone in my family's been clumsy as an ox.
Never had much
My
use
sister's
of
children are no exception. First thing I taught them was how to brew Wiggenweld potion. Good thing too. Simply
I wonder
horrible.
what
The
Merlin
things
would
I've
think of
heard
the Wizarding
muggles do
World
to
today.
women they think are witches.
Seems to notice.
First they're teaching students jinxes. Next thing you know, it's unforgivable curses.
No witch can resist my charms.
It's no wonder I feel so exhausted all the time. I
Save
should
me
pour
more
myself
broken
a
glasses
fire
than I'm
whiskey
scared
the
to
minute I
count.
get home and bask in the glorious peace of a childless abode.
Never trust a man.
I don't know about centaurs, but there hasn't been a dragon in history worth losing a hair over.
Those that go to Azkaban never had a chance in the first place.
I've always thought that if the four founders had got on better, Hogwarts wouldn't have fostered such intense house rivals.
My mother used to say I was
Does make for
lazy.
an exciting
Wouldn't pick up my
Quidditch
toys,
season.
she said. Her own fault for teaching me Accio. What do you suppose muggles would make about dependence upon house elves?
I wouldn't feel right asking an elf to pick up after me.
I can transfigure anything if I put my mind to it.
What breeds successful young witches and wizards isn't blood purity, it's love and a healthy respect for magic.
Tried to have a chat with Ellie Peck the other day. He did some mooncaster.
top of
I did see Professor Weasley in the village recently. She was stopping by tomes and diricles.
Whenever
I'd
I'm
imagine she was
feeling out of
organising
sorts, the
spellcraft for
first
some of the
person
new
I see
students.
is Percival Pippin.
Tried to have a chat with Ellie Peck the other day. He did some mooncaster. Very nice young lady. Could I get her to stop talking about woofers and
How is
diricles?
standing behind a till counting knuts and sickles considered work?
Very brought up. I honestly can't remember the last time I spoke to him.
Hasn't been anyone as bad as Barney.
Have
Muggles
any
have
of you
made
been
life
by
hard for us since the
Calliope
dawn of time.
Snelling's lately? Does wonders for one's image to have a styling done by her. Not saying any of you need it, merely suggesting.
I admire Verona Ryan the way she welcomes all types of
Oh, I'm working. Working on not working.
socializing together.
It's been ages since I've been up to the castle myself. It'd be lovely to visit Hogwarts again, but not while I have that old curmudgeon as headmaster.
If I thought that could go,
My mother.
I wouldn't feel right asking an elf to pick up after me.
on second thought, I'd rather be the one drinking the fire whiskey than pouring it.
It's no wonder Barney thought
Caught my little one prancing about the
My
kitchen
children
with a
do love
wooden
her.
spoon there.
What I wouldn't give for a spell. to keep my
Casting away
mother-in-law
at the
from
siblings
visiting
he was to
every
keep them in
week.
check.
And the sweet she brings.
He'll
It's
be
a wonder
Minister
they have a
for
tooth
Magic
left in
one
their
day.
heads.
You mark
She was
my
stopping
words.
by tomes and scrolls. I'd imagine she was organising spellcraft for some of the new students.
Not enough reflection on the past, in my opinion. The world learns from its mistakes.
Not much of the dark arts that frightens me as long as I have me wand.
Centaurs have never had much use for wizard kind, have they? They don't seem to get along well, do they, muggles? So many rules. Not like wizard kind. We're
Jasper
far
Trout may not keep a
civilized.
tidy tavern, but he'll carry your secrets to the grave.
Barely lifting a finger.
Good thing the ministry banned underage
Dark
sorcery.
wizards are
Can't trust
greedier
the
than
young.
nifblers and meaner than trolls. Good ancestry, that is.
If you work all day with your hands, you're no better than a muggle.
Rather scrape cauldrons than work with muggles.
You don't ever want to find yourself in the pocket of one of the crucial.
I can't imagine how muggles get by without magic. Almost makes me feel a bit guilty.
I simply pretended that someone had used Expelliarmus.
My parents finally installed a fireplace. I was thrilled, except now that they're connected to the flu network, I'm expected to bring the children for dinner every
Has there
Sunday.
ever been a vampire worth
I wouldn't
knowing?
mind, but it's an awful roast they cook.
Maybe it's taken to checking in on me weekly.
Yeah, which is very nice, of course.
Say straight too soon.
My children have been getting on my last nerve of late. Conjure this, conjure that. That said,
My plan is to have
I'd
enough
stand before
galleons
a
one
grapple
day that I don't
for
have to
them.
work at
Give
all.
her a spell to keep
I
my
should spend my
mother-in-law
days
from
baking
visiting
people's
every
hearts and
week.
denuding the
And
garden.
the sweet she
Blows
brings.
his workers'
It's a
feet on
wonder
his
they have
daughter.
tooth left in their heads.
I think we're getting a lot more trade from the Hogwarts students this year, what with Quidditch being cancelled.
I never get a single
Poor
letter when
children
she's
have
away
nothing
at
else
school,
to do with
because
their
she
spare
refuses
time.
to part with him.
I dare say the most charming thing
Diamond
I'm
Alley's
used to catching
selection
a
is
few
impressive,
glances.
of course, but
If
I
any
prefer the
dark wizards come
convenience
around
and safety
Hogsmeade,
of
I'll
our
give
high
them something to
street.
sniff at.
What I wouldn't give for a spell to keep my mother-in-law from visiting
Oh,
every
Spout
week.
Hole Spabbing's been minister for so long, I don't remember who came
It's a
before
wonder they
him.
have a tooth left in their heads.
If it thinks it's got half a chance, a werewolf would be on you like most suckers for Doxiers.
Unicorn blood will
Wingardium
keep you alive,
Leviosa makes
certainly.
light work,
But at what
I always
cost?
say.
Never can decide where to go for a butterbeer, the Hog's Head or the Three Broomsticks. Both have their charms, to be sure. Of course, it's always a treat to see Serona, so the Three Broomsticks usually wins out.
It takes to get Emmerich the Evil look like
Haggering.
Yorick the Oddball. She had her own chambers. They were in the cellar, but you could still see they were her very own.
My advice when dealing with untoward matters is in for a canut, in for a galleon.
Morgan Le Fay's got an unearned reputation, if you ask me. Did you know that Albie Weeks has been designing his own brooms? Such an entrepreneur, that young man.
Practices of the dark arts should stick to fighting amongst
I
themselves.
can
If you
almost
ask me.
always spot a student who's just come from history of magic.
It's as though Professor Booth drains the life out of them with his droning monologues on Goblin
I do
rebellion.
so enjoy the days when the children are back at Hogwarts. It gives the village a joyous burst of energy.
If it thinks it's got half a chance, a werewolf would be on you like both suckers for Doxiers. I was taught if you put in a good effort, you'll reap the rewards. Not a day
I
goes
should
by
think
that
a
you
house
should be
elf
better
doesn't
attention
work
in
as hard
defense
as me.
against the dark arts.
And
The
sometimes
world
I have to
needs
wonder,
talented
for
authors now
what?
more than ever. He doesn't try to earn money. I left Gladbrains last week with 4 cats when I only went in for 3. Far back as I can recall, everyone in my family...
Children from homes with more than one house elf are rarely
The only thing
self-sufficient.
Hogwarts lacks is its own Quidditch team.
Think like them too. I'm used to catching a few glances.
Repair
Whatever
only
my
saved me
task,
more broken
I console
glasses than
myself
I
knowing
care
that
to
some
count.
soul out there has a more unfavourable lot in life.
If it weren't for the cost of things these days, I'd be able to take a holiday somewhere.
If something threatens me, first thing I cast is Protego. I can't imagine how muggles get by without magic. Almost makes me feel a bit guilty.
Wingardium Leviosa makes light work, I always say. My husband, for that matter, no not to press me too much. I'm not
I met a girl once, looked like an inferior. Pretty though.
Has there ever been a
Didn't eat
vampire worth knowing?
Work hard and don't be afraid to fail.
We've got dark wizards these days that make Emmerich the Evil look like Yorick the Oddball.
Did you know that Albie Weeks has been
I've dined in your house, and I can say that the experience would have been much more
I
pleasant
thought that the black
had you had a
Abbey
house elf in the kitchen.
Hogsmeade, A second thought, I'd rather be the one drinking the fire whiskey than pouring it.
Leviosa and Stupefy combined should pretend to be feeling the Hogwarts professors about the village. Stealing.
Perhaps they need a reprieve from the students as much as the students do from them.
Happiest day of my life was when my wife and I found out my daughter was a witch. Little did we know what we were in for.
Work hard and don't be afraid to fail. That is the path of a leader.
Not much of a dark art that frightens me. We could use a few more house elves in my house.
I prefer to do my own housework.
We treated our
I have a
house elf
wand,
quite well.
for goodness
She
sake.
had her own chambers. They were in the cellar, but we could still see they were her very own.
Repair and save me more broken glasses of my set at
I
house.
told my nieces I'd leave my grandmother's silver cauldron to whichever one of them looked after me in my old age. They've each taken to checking in on me weekly, which is very nice, of course.
Beetle the Bard is a bit too hairy-hearted for my taste.
Voice of reason under the reign of that clueless headmaster.
Lucky to have her. When I was a girl, I wanted to work with
House elves are Wizardkind's best friend.
I'm forever at
Always
the
have
three
been.
broomsticks, I am. I enjoy a nice beverage. Then I find myself still there hours later chatting away to Serona. Lovely woman she is.
Sentinels have never had much use for wizard kind, have they?
I had plenty of opportunity to pursue anything I wanted. Good brain. That's what the teachers would say.
Didn't get where he is by sitting on his hands.
Darkness is a greedier than mistress and meaner
My
than
first
fraud.
employment was at Honeydews. Stockgrower was. I did put on a bit of weight, though.
I do enjoy the
When I
magic
need
leaf.
to replenish my
Never find
authority
much to
supplies,
buy,
I go
but
to Timothy
Teasdale
Teasdale
is
at the
simply
Magic Needle.
charming.
Easier on my nerves than dogweed and death cap. Less poison and fewer spikes.
Oh, I'm working. Working on not working.
We have assumed that all the children will be sorted into
I do trust Augustus Hill's eye when it comes to fashion, truly.
Nothing warms
But
a
I
body
do
like
wonder if he
incendio.
doesn't
That's
try
what
to
my
rule
mother
the
used to say.
salad. I left Gladrags last week with 4 new hats when I only went in for 3.
The ministry's good work if
Only
you
a
can get it.
hairy-hearted sod would cast Flipendo on a cow.
Leviosa and Stupefy combined should put any fruit in their place.
Does my heart good to see young Albie Weeks making a go of it at Spint, which is a very knowledgeable young man, that one.
For all the faults most models I've met seem quite pleasant. Those tiring wizard kind of constant battle.
Wonder how I get on working as a referee and professional.
There's not many, don't fear me.
It's in my blood, you know. My mother's family comes from just outside by sitting on his hands.
The friendliest establishment in our village is the Hog's Head Inn. No one putting on airs and graces over a pint of butterbeer. Not like they do at the Three Broomsticks.
But a failure is a good thing. Builds character.
Leviosa and Stupefy combined should put any fruit in their place.
For all the faults most models I've met seem quite pleasant.
I dread the day muggles know of wizard kind. They'll be asking for favours round the clock.
Had a bit of a rude awakening her first day
I
at
dare say
Hogwarts.
the most charming
No one catering to her
is its
every whim.
distinct lack of models.
I think we can all agree that what mothers lack. My children and my husband, for that matter, know not to press me too much.
No
Not to
need
love
for
using
sleeping
other-
draft
I'd
for
rather
me.
straight cool
Proper
drinks than
day's work,
with
nice sleep like a baby moon
His
calf.
own Quidditch team.
My mother used to threaten us with sleeping draft in our butterbeer if we didn't behave. Was so like figured I swear she took some herself.
Repair
last
will
night.
save me more broken glasses than I care to count.
The way my children play at dueling, I sometimes hope they all turn
My
out to be
appearance doesn't
squibs
need the
for their
assistance of
safety and
charms.
mine.
I've a natural
It's no
glow.
wonder parents are exhausted all the time. I should pour myself a fire whiskey the minute I get home and bask in the glorious peace of a childless abode.
Sometimes I wonder if we really need the statute of secrecy. Might be nice to reach out to the Muggles for a change. Think of the good we could
If
do.
it weren't for the cost of things these days, I'd be able to take a holiday somewhere.
Now tickles me. If only I could invent a new potion.
Simply
something
horrible.
for things I've heard
I'd be
Muggles
set
do
for
to
life.
women they think are witches. Not to worry. I like baking.
Out loud tickles me.
Thomas Brown is a marvel, I tell you. I was looking for an impossible to find book on werewolves. No need to ask why. And he found a copy for me before the next full moon.
Not one of those provincial
No need to
hamlets.
look
That
scared.
rivalry between Upper and Lower Hogsfield. Glad to live in Hogsmeade, not one of those provincial hamlets. That rivalry between Upper and Lower Hogsfield is the silliest thing I've ever seen. They're both utterly dreadful.
I simply pretended that someone had used Expelliarmus. But really, I'd forgotten to bring it down with me.
Oh, the work it takes to keep a clean house.
Not a fan of the
Staggering.
Hogshead in
Even
myself.
with that.
It's a good thing we have auras, that's all I'm saying.
She was stopping by tomes and scrolls. I'd imagine she was organising spellcraft for some of the new students.
Struggling to be man and Gringotts since his bricks were laid.
She'll be hearing back soon about the position that opened up at the ministry.
I
sent my
so
letter of inquiry
enjoy
last
chatting
Monday.
to Thomas Brown, but I'll never understand
Can't
his
imagine
fixation
how
with
Muggles get by
Muggle
without
Christmas
magic.
carols. Perhaps it's the antiquated language that fascinates him.
I told my
Or
nieces
one of
to
those
leave my
stints.
grandmother's silver cauldron to whichever one of them looked after me in my old age. They've each taken to checking in on me weekly, which is very nice, of course.
I simply pretended that someone had used Expelliarmus. But really, I'd forgotten to bring it out with me.
I wish I'd paid more attention when I was at
I
Hogwarts.
simply pretended that someone had used Expelliarmus. But really, I'd forgotten to bring it out with me.
I think we can all agree that what Muggles lack in magical ability, they make up for in tea.
Much as they exhaust me, I'm a bit sad my last one's heading to Hogwarts.
Revelio certainly never revealed the charm of my potions to Professor Lacron. I would have been very far. He should pay better attention in defense against the dark arts.
My first employment was in honeydews. Stock girl I was. I did put on a bit of weight, though.
I
The
sometimes
old
stop at
credit
Madame
goldfish.
Snelling's just to see how Calliope's
Always
done
spot
her
a
hair
student
that
who's
day.
just come from
Hogsmeade's always charming, of course. But at Christmas, well, in my view, there's nowhere more
If I
beautiful.
thought I could convince Sir Oprah, I'd open my own pub in Hogsmeade. On second thought, I'd rather be the one drinking the fire whiskey than pouring it.
Professor Lacron. I was at school. Don't know when students began arriving by flying carriage. Revelio certainly never revealed
I'd
the
check
charm
up her
of my
biology if it
potions
didn't
to
involve so
Professor
much
Lacron. I
time.
was at
To
school.
do lecture. Voice of reason under the reign of that clueless headmaster. They're lucky to have her.
Not a day goes by I don't think of something I didn't learn at Hogwarts.
Flipendo might seem like harmless fun, but not when you've just had your hair done by Calliope Snelling.
I sometimes stop into Madame Snelling's just to see how Calliope has done her hair that day. She's brilliantly creative.
I wouldn't trade my
Although
one for
possibly
chomping
somewhat
cabbage in
impractical.
China.
But I do wonder who doesn't try to own the salad. I left
I can
Glasgow
transfigure anything if I put my mind to it.
Don't know when students began arriving by flying carriage to Hogwarts, but after that dragon attack, I'd wager they'll stick to boats and trains.
That young Otto Dibble at Glandrax does seem a nervous sort. Helpful, mind you, but perhaps still hasn't quite found his stride.
Banned underage sorcery. Can't trust the young.
Hogsmeade does have charming shopkeepers. I was simply saying before that I preferred Diagon Alley on account of the wider selection of merchandise.
Not saying I don't cast the odd cleaning spell when no one's looking.
You don't ever want to find yourself in the pocket of one knows the cruciatus curse. Oh, will there ever be another
What I like about Jasper Trout is that he's shifty as a niffler, and you can tell him that to his face.
I'm not sure muggles appreciate how simple their lives are. Ironic, really.
You'll not cast successfully if you don't first see it happen in your own mind.
Does Hill's eye when it comes to fashion, truly. But I do wonder if he doesnesn't try to
We
elude
had
the
assumed
salad.
that all the
I
children
left
would
glad
be
rags last
sorted
week
into
with folding
Hufflepuffs.
hats when I only went
Imagine
for
our
three.
surprise when the youngest was put into Ravenclaw. Still, she has always
I
been
don't see
quite
why
a
everyone
reader.
has their
And
wand
she's
and
quite
not about
useful
the
when
dark
there are
arts.
questions about
It's pushing the boundaries of magic.
Oh, I'm working. Working on not working.
Revelio certainly never revealed the charm of my potions, Professor, back when I was at school.
I try not to judge what others do in their own homes. One never knows how slovenly another's family may be.
Delightful colour. I think I might have to get one of each.
So goblins and wizards socializing together makes a nice change.
Godric Gryffindor was the greatest duelist in history.
You'd think knowing spells would
I used to help
simplify
out at the
things.
Three Broomsticks
Never
when I
seems
was
to
younger.
work that way for me.
Only if I could invent
Mind
a
where
new
you put your
potion,
hands if you visit
something
Dogweed and Death Camp.
indispensable.
I was in there the other day, nearly lost a finger.
I like baking. Centaurs have never had much use for wizard kind, have they?
Expelliarmus can disarm a
wouldn't
dark
feel
wizard,
myself
no
being
doubt.
justified.
But then what? Fleeing?
Mr. Ollivander seems to spend more time cleaning up his shop from errant wand tasks than actually selling.
I saw the Hogwarts caretaker the other day at the Three Broomsticks. Blood removed.
It's as though Professor Binns
Regaling everyone with his tales, he was. I think he was captain of the Chuckley Cannons, the way he goes on.
Not a fan of the Hog's Head himself. Shady waffling about most of the time.
I'm forever at the
Morgan
Three
the Faith has an
Broomsticks, I am.
unearned reputation,
I
if you ask
enjoy
me.
my beverage. Then I find myself still there hours later chatting away to Serona.
My children
Lovely
and
woman
my
she
husband, for that matter, know not to press
Never
me
can
too
decide
much.
where to go for a
I'm not
butterbeer,
opposed to
the Hog's
collecting
Head,
curds
or
in the
Three
house when
Broomsticks.
necessary.
Both have their charms, to be sure. Of course, it's always a treat to see Serona.
Whenever
so
I'm
the
feeling
Three
out of
Broomsticks
sorts,
usually
the
decide.
first person I see is Percival Pippin.
You'd think knowing spells would simplify things.
Not a day goes by I don't wish I'd paid better attention in defense against the dark arts. The world needs talented aurors now more than ever.
I so rarely see any of the Hogwarts professors about the village.
Do you
Caught a
think
glimpse
they
of
don't
some
seem to
muggles
get
the
along
other day
with
hitting a little white ball around a large mowed field.
Not like wizard
Muggle
kind.
sports seem about as exciting as a bombed porridge.
I shall spend my days making treacle hearts and dealing with
It's terrible.
I
To win
you
his
put in a good
self
effort, you'll reap
punish
the reward.
himself.
I so enjoy chatting to Thomas Brown, but I'll never understand his fixation with
I don't know
muggle
about
Christmas
centaurs,
carols.
but there hasn't been a dragon in history worth losing a hair over.
Season's hats at Gladrag.
Or the
Delightful
lotus
colour.
dins.
I think I might have to get one of each.
My first employment was at Honeydews. Stockground I was. I did put on a bit of weight, though.
Oh, I don't think anyone at the
Not
ministry
enough
worked a
reflection
day
on
in
the
their life.
past, in my opinion. The world learns from its mistakes.
I used to help out at the Three Broomsticks when I was younger.
Not to the dark arts that frightens me as long as I have me one.
Never trust a man who looks too smart.
Relief washes over me the moment I've returned from London. Being amongst so many muddles is exhausting.
Told him to make sure he's looked for himself and not his magic. Have you seen this season's hats
Don't
at
know when
Gladstone?
students begin arriving by flying carriage
I
to
think I might
Hogwarts,
have to
but
get
after
one
that
of these.
dragon attack, I'd wager they'll stick to boats and trains.
We could use a
I
few more
wonder if I'll
house
ever
elves
find
in
that
my
golden
house.
snitch in Bodmin Moor.
Oh, will there ever be another wizard as peculiar as you at the
What how I get on working with a referee for professional Quidditch matches? It's in my portfolio. My mother's family comes from just outside Quidditch.
Oh, she was very disappointed when I
Anyone can run a shop if they inherited it.
My eldest son sweet on another boy that lives near my sister. I've nothing against it, mine, but I told him to make sure he's looked for himself.
I overheard some
and not his
students
magic.
talking about Professor Ronan's teaching games.
My children
Sound
do
very
love
clever.
her.
Charming
What
man,
I
Ronan.
wouldn't give for a
Wish
spell
I'd had
to
him
keep
when
my
I was at
mother-in-law from
Hogwarts.
visiting every week. Oh, and the sweets she brings. It's a wonder they've a tooth left in their heads. I did see Professor Weasley in the village recently. She was stopping by tomes and scrolls. I'd imagine she'd rather spring cauldrons than work with much students.
My eldest son
Not a
sweet
day
on
goes
another
Just because
boy
you know
that lives near my
Lumos
sister.
doesn't mean you
I've
can't
nothing
get
against
lost.
it, mine, but I told him to make sure he's looked for himself and not his magic.
My first employment was at Honeydew. When I was a girl, I wanted to work with unicorns. I did put on a bit of weight though.
Find myself scurrying home at night these days. Can't be too careful.
Only a hairy-hearted
Quite well.
sod would cast
She had her own
Nintendo on a
chambers.
cow. They were in the cellar, but you could still see, and they were her very own.
If any dark forces come around
We
Hogwarts,
argued that all the children would be sorted into Hufflepuff. Imagine our surprise when the youngest was put into
I never get a
Ravenclaw.
single letter when she's
She has
away at
always
school
been quite
because she
rude,
refuses to part
and
with them.
she's quite useful when you have a question.
Ellie Peck certainly knows her beasts. Stopped me from blindly buying Measle fur when she knew that what I needed was Niffler fur.
listening to you
I must say, I admire Serona Ryan and the way she welcomes all types into the three broomsticks. So rare to see
Is it my
goblins
block,
and
no?
wizards
My mother's family
socialising
comes from
together.
just outside
Makes a
Quidditch.
nice change.
When you find a good opportunity, it's wise to seize it with both hands.
By without magic. Almost makes me feel a bit guilty.
When I was a girl, I wanted to work with
Thank
unicorns.
goodness. I'd
It was
rather
a
scrape
whim that
cauldrons
passed.
than work with
Students could do
muggles.
without her. Voice of reason under the reign of that clueless headmaster.
They're lucky to
An
have
honest day's work for an honest sickle. That's my creed.
I heard that the Black family, as in Venus Nightingale Black,
No one
decapitated
could charm a
their house.
hairstyle like me. Smooth as a moon calf.
Family. When I was a student at Hogwarts, my favourite class was astronomy. Kept having to tell my mother that it wasn't the same as astrology. Well, she was very disappointed when I couldn't help her with a horoscope.
Could have sworn I saw one of the Hogwarts ghosts wandering near the graveyard the other day. Very strange.
If only I could invent a new
Morgan
potion.
the Babe is an
Something
unearned
indispensable.
reputation, if you ask
I'd be
me.
satisfied.
I can always rely on my betrothed to keep me safe. At least I think so. If you work all day with your hands, you're no better than a model.
Don't know if students began arriving by flying carriage to Hogwarts, but after that dragon attack, I'd wager they'll stick to boats and trains.
Brothers, forward
Pushing a plough is good, honest work. But I shall
Stop
stick to
talking about
muggles.
wonders and dirhams. I've always thought that if the four founders had got on better, Hogwarts wouldn't have cost such intense house
What breeds successful young witches and wizards isn't blind cruelty. It's love and a healthy respect for magic.
Hasn't been anyone as bad as Barnabas Deverell in a while, has there?
My advice when dealing with untoward matters is in for a canut, in for a galleon.
working on not working, but I'd say it's a bit too soon.
I'm well suited to counting money. I'd love a job at Gringotts if I didn't have to take one of those rickety carts round the place. Nearly vomited
I don't
first
think
time I
anyone
rode
at
one.
the ministry works a day in their life. Those of us who were
If it
raised
weren't for the
properly
cost
can
of
pick up
things
after
these days, I'd be able
ourselves.
to take a
We don't
holiday
need a house
somewhere.
elf to do it. Augustus Hill has such tact. Just
I
the
think
other
we can
day,
all
I heard
agree
him
that what
talking a
muggles
woman
lack in
out of a
magical
hat that
ability, they
would
make up
have
for in
most
tips.
certainly
Oh,
those
great.
that go to Azkaban
The
never had a
worst
chance
thief.
in
You can
the
stop
first
a
place.
thief in their tracks with
First buy
stupefy.
a tin shop owner.
Or just run, of
She
course.
had her own chasers. They were in the cellar, but you could still see, and they were her very own.
First they're teaching if he thinks it's
With
got
Quidditch
half a
cancelled
chance,
at
a
Hogwarts
werewolf would
this
be
year,
on you
my
like
two make the
Michael
most of it when
Orthodoxy
they're at
eggs.
home. Flying about the bog, tossing a
I never get
quaffle
a
back and
single
forth.
letter when she's away at school.
Suppose I do
because
get
she
to
refuses
see
to
a bit
pass
more of them.
My children, and my husband for that matter, know not to press me too much. I'm not above using a blasting curse in the house when necessary. Found just the book on poltergeists I was looking for the other day at Tomes and Scrolls. No idea where that man finds his inventory, but it's marvellous.
Not saying I don't cast the
No
odd
need to
cleaning
worry about
spell when
anyone's
no one's
ever
looking.
activating the trace at my house.
Combined should
Can't get
protect
my
the
children to
in
lift a
their
finger, let alone a wand.
Hollyjuice potion wants keeping away from today's young, I'd say.
There's a meaner than a troll.
Did you know that Albie Weeks has been designing his own brooms?
Listening to you lot
Such an
go on about
entrepreneur,
Diamond
that young
Alley's
man.
selection is impressive, of course, but I prefer the convenience and safety of our high street.
I so rarely see any of the Hogwarts professors about the village. Do you? Perhaps they need a reprieve from the students. as
I
much
had
as the
plenty of
students do from
opportunity
them.
to pursue anything I wanted. Good brain. That's what the teachers would say.
Spoiled the rotten she did. Had a bit of a rude awakening her first days at Hogwarts. No one catering
My
to her
mother used to
whim.
threaten us with sleeping
Listening
draft
to
in
you
our
lot go on about
butterbeer
your
if we
children
didn't
makes
behave.
me grateful for
Wore
my
so
loyal
ragged, I
crop.
swear she took some herself most nights.
Oh, I'm looking. Working on not working.
If I thought I could complete
One never
this
knows
world,
when
I'd
society
open
will be
the
thrown into the midst of unrest.
On second thought, I'd rather be the one drinking the bar whiskey than pouring it.
I was top of my class all through my years at Hogwarts.
I've always thought that if the four founders had got on better, Hogwarts
Unicorn
wouldn't have
blood
cost
will keep
such
you
intense
alive,
house
certainly.
life.
But at what cost?
Still, does make for an exciting Quidditch season.
I so rarely see them as one professor
Being
about the
like
village.
Jenny Blacks.
Decapitate their houses. What a fruitful family.
Wingardium Leviosa makes life work, I always say.
One thing's for certain, you can't blame the students for leaving the castle at every opportunity. That headmaster is a most cantankerous chap.
I'm used to catching a few glances. Did you know that your mother was gorgeous in
Arts more powerful than the dark arts? Not even love, I reckon.
And a bit of a rude awakening her first days at Hogwarts. No one catering to her every whim.
Found just the book on poltergeists I was looking for the other day at Tomes and Scrolls. No idea where that man finds his inventory, but it's marvellous.
I do so enjoy the days when the children are back at Hogwarts. Gives the village a joyous burst of energy.
I will say that I was relieved
Good
to
thing
have
the
our
Ministry
family
banned
out of our
underage
house
sorcery.
recently.
Can't
Can't
trust
trust
the
the
young to clear the doxies from the curtains each spring.
I can always spot a student who's just come from history.
I can't imagine how muggles get by without magic. Almost makes me feel a bit guilty.
Oh, I could show the Chudley Cannons a thing or two about proper chasing form.
I was top of my class all through my years at Hogwarts.
We're witches and wizards.
Can't imagine
We can
how I'd
conjure
have felt
almost
as a
anything
boy
we
if
need
my
whilst barely
headmaster
lifting a
cancelled
finger.
Quidditch.
There's a few more house elves in my house.
I'm a bit worried that my nephew's a squib. Sits there like a lump every Christmas while all the other children have to be constantly reminded to put away
A spot
their
of failure
wands.
is a good thing.
Not saying I mind, of course.
I sometimes stop into Madame Snelling's just to see how Calliope has done her hair that day. She's brilliantly creative, though possibly somewhat impractical. He's been designing his own brooms. Such an entrepreneur, that young man.
Have any of you been by Calliope Snelling's lately? Does wonders for one's image to have a styling done by her. Not saying any of you
Thank
need
goodness
it.
for Professor
Merely
Weasley.
suggesting.
Don't know what the students would do without her. Voice of reason under the reign of that clueless headmaster.
There's
We're
no
lucky to have her.
some coastline. I simply pretended that someone used Expelliarmus. For really, I'd forgotten to bring it out with me. I do wish Pippin would share some of his secret family recipes.
I wonder what Merlin would
Appreciate
think
the
of the Wizarding
ready-made
World today.
potions, of course, but I do like to brew my own when
I
I
should
can.
pour myself a fire whiskey the minute I get home and bask in the glorious peace of a childless abode.
I can try and figure anything.
If any dark wizards come
Myself,
around
I'm
Hogsmeade, I'll be waiting.
Sometimes I wonder if we really need the statute of secrecy. I'd be nice to reach out to the muggles for a change. Think of the good we can do.
I'd rather scrape cauldrons than work with muggles.
There ever been a vampire worth knowing?
Glad to live in Hogsmeade and not one of those provincial hamlets. That rivalry between upper and lower Hogsmeade is as though my neighbour's oldest boy's taken to howling at the moment at night. She insists it's a
Shall be
stage
hearing
he's
back
going
soon
through.
about the
It's
position
no
that opened up at the
good
ministry.
Boston all the
I
time.
sent my letter of
I shall
inquiry
pour
last
myself
Monday.
a fire whiskey the minute I get home and bask in the glorious peace of a childless abode. She insists it's a stage he's going through, but I should be keeping
Oh,
my
what it takes to keep a clean house is staggering. Even with magic.
I can try and figure anything.
A full day's work clears the mind, I say.
Quidditch team. Muggles have made life hard for us since the Magic didn't get where he is by sitting on his hands.
Polyjuice potion keeping away from today's young, I say.
I wouldn't mind a job at that alchemy centre in Egypt. Always been good at potions and the like.
I so
Seems a
enjoy
natural fit
chatting
for
to
me.
Thomas Brown, but I'll never understand his fixation with Muggle Christmas carols. Perhaps it's the antiquated language that fascinates
I told
him.
my nieces I'd
Or
leave my
the
grandmother's silver
dibs.
cauldron to whichever one of them looked after me in my old age. They've each taken to checking in on me.
If anyone ever knew how to keep muggles out, it was Hengist of Woodcroft.
Little art when it comes to fashion trends.
catering to her
If
every
it weren't
whim.
for the cost of things these days, I'd be able to take a holiday somewhere.
Hengist of Woodcroft certainly knew how to plan a city.
The friendliest establishment in our village is the Hog's Head Inn.
If it
No
weren't
one
for the
putting on
cost of
airs
things
and
these days,
graces
I'd be
over a
able to
pint
take
of
a holiday
butterbeer.
somewhere.
Drinking
Not like they do with
whiskey
the
then
Three
pouring it.
Broomsticks.
My Hogwarts uniform still fits. Good ancestry, that's it.
What do you suppose muggles make about dependence upon house elves?
Easier on my nerves than
Prepare.
dog
I was top of my class all through my years at Hogwarts. Anyone can run a shop if they inherited it.
Jasper Trout may not keep a tidy tavern, but he'll carry your secrets to the grave.
No one could charm a hairstyle like me. Smooth as a moon calf.
Never can decide where to go for a butterbeer, the Hog's Head or the Three Broomsticks. Both had their charms, to be Hengist sure. of Woodcroft certainly knew how to plan a city.
Serona,
So the Three Broomsticks usually wins out. Can't trust the
I adore living in Hogsmeade. For a lark, I sometimes row about the Black Lake. See
My
if I can
appearance doesn't
spot
need
the
the assistance
elusive
of
giant
charm.
squid.
I have a natural glow.
My children do love her. But what I wouldn't give for a spell to keep my mother-in-law from visiting every week. Oh, and the sweets she brings. It's a wonder they've a tooth left in their head. Such an entrepreneur, that young man.
I will say that I was relieved to have our family help about when I was younger. Kept me from having to clear the doxies
We
from the
had
curtains
assumed
each
that
spring.
all the children would be sorted into Hufflepuff. Imagine our surprise when the youngest was put into Ravenclaw.
If something threatens
it's not
me,
one thing,
first
it's the
thing I
other.
cast is Protego.
And she's quite useful when you have a question.
Revelio certainly never revealed the charm of my potions, Professor, back when I was at school. Not
I
a
did
fan
see
of the
Professor
Hog's Head
Weasley in the
myself.
village recently.
Shady
She was
lot
stopping by
looking about
tomes
most
and
of the time.
scrolls.
Can't trust
I'd
the
imagine
My
she
two
was
couldn't be
organising
more
spellcraft
different.
for some of the new students.
If I didn't know better, I'd say one had been switched at birth.
I'm forever at the Three Broomsticks, I am. Behind the glass beverage. Then I find myself still there hours later chatting away to Serona. I do wish Pippin would share some of his secret family recipes. I appreciate the ready-made potions, of course.
Not like
But I do like to brew my own when I can.
civilized.
Historically speaking, there's never been a team like this year's Cannons.
My neighbour's eldest boy is taken to howling at the moon at night. She insists it's a stage he's going through, but I should be keeping my distance, I can tell you that.
Oh, hard work and good luck go hand in hand. And the odd charm or two.
Uniform still fits.
Never
Good
trust a man
ancestry,
who
that's
looks
it.
too smart. That's what my mother always said.
I simply pretended that
Far back
someone
as I can
knew
recall,
fell
everyone in my
armour.
family's been clumsy
I
as
wouldn't
an
feel
ox,
right asking
and
an
my
elf to
sister's
take off
children
after
are
me.
no exception. First thing I taught them was how to brew Wiggenweld potion. Good thing too.
Timothy Teasdale seems mild enough, but I suspect he has some interesting stories about his years as an
Next thing you know, it's unforgivable
Mind, I
curses.
do feel a bit safer when he's around.
Just outside Quidditch.
Work hard and don't be afraid to fail. That is the path of a leader.
Oh, I'm working. Working on not working.
My plans have a
My children have been getting on my last nerve of late. Conjure this, conjure that. That said, I'd stand before a grapple before them.
Tempting to simply go and live amongst the muggles for a change.
Try not to judge what others do in their own homes. One never knows how slovenly another's family may be.
I was taught that if you put in a good effort, you'll reap the rewards. But the man that I will do this and run it before you can drag from out to get the platform. Yes, Mary, and what seems to know. If it weren't for the cost of things these days, I'd be able to take a holiday somewhere.
Being an officer of the law in a quiet village like Hogsmeade is a pleasant job, I'd say. Wish I'd thought of it.
Those of us who were raised properly,
They don't
want
seem to
ourselves.
ourselves, do
You
they?
don't need a house elf to do
So
it.
many rules. Not like a wizard trying to appreciate how things their lives are. Ironic, really.
Children from homes with more than one house elf are rarely self-sufficient, though, are they?
Did I see that Matilda from Gladwell's looking smitten with Rosie Hill the other day? I'm wondering if Augustus knows his wife is sweet on his daughter.
For all the folks, most muggle rides that seem like very fire. I imagine I can't get to the dark half of the beam. Tempting to simply go and live in.
Did you know that Ethel Whitley only uses fallen feathers in her quilts? That's a conscientious and kind woman if ever I met one.
My first employment was at
Wingardium
Honeydews.
Leviosa means
Stock
great
girl I
work,
was.
I always say.
I did put on a bit of weight though.
You'd think knowing spells would simplify things. Never seems to work that way for me.
I must say, I admire Serona Ryan the way she welcomes all types into
Godric
the
Gryffindor was the greatest duelist in
so
history.
rare to see goblins and wizards socializing together makes a nice change.
Not much of the dark arts that frightens me as long as I have me wand.
The Minister for Magic didn't get where he is by sitting on his hands.
There ever been a vampire worth knowing?
If any dark wizards come around Hogsmeade, I will say that I was
The
willing
herbology
to have our
professor at
family help
Hogwarts
out
could
when I
charm
was
the
younger.
scales off a
Kept me
dragon.
from having to clear the doxies
Wonder
from
what
the
her
curtains
favourite
each
flower
spring.
is.
My appearance doesn't need the assistance of charms. I have a natural glow.
My mother used to threaten us with sleeping draft in our butterbeer if we didn't behave. Or so ragged I swear she
Caught
took
my
to
little
herself
one
most
prancing about the kitchen with a wooden spoon the other day.
Keeping away from today's
Casting
young,
away
I'd
at the
say.
siblings he was to keep them in check.
But I should have kept on
He'll be Minister for Magic one day. You mark my words.
You don't ever want to find yourself in the pocket of one who has the Cruciatus curse.
We're witches and wizards. We can conjure almost anything we need while barely lifting a finger.
Only a hairy-hearted sod would cast
dark
defender on a
these days
cow.
that make Emmerich the evil look like Yorick the oddball.
Beetle the Bard is a bit too hairy-hearted for my taste.
My favourite class was astronomy. Kept having to tell my mother that it
Can't imagine how mothers get by without magic. Almost makes me feel a bit guilty.
Toadstool tales always made me wretch as a child.
If something threatens me, first thing I cast is Protego.
Not a fan of the Hog's Head in myself. Shady not lurking about this at the time.
The ministry's good work if you can get it.
repair of save me more broken glasses of my careful house.
It's no wonder parents are exhausted all the time. I should work with my son.
If I had a knut for every crapple I chased off.
Piece of a child suburban.
I can
sorts. The first person I see is Percival Pippin.
Types into the three broomsticks. So glad to see goblins and wizards socializing together. Makes a nice change.
Continent's charming. With a crescent. Well, my view is more beautiful.
Just saying it out loud.
Still, does make for an exciting Quidditch season.
Oh, Falcon Spadding's been minister for so long, I don't remember who came before him.
Does my heart good to see
dare
young
say the
Albie
most
Weeks
charming
making a
thing
go
about
of it at
Hogsmeade
spit,
is its
which is
distinct lack of
a
muggles.
very knowledgeable
Everyone
young
in my
man,
family
that
has been
one.
clumsy as an ox. And my sister's children are no exception. First thing I taught them was how to brew Wiggenweld potion.
Not a day goes by I don't use something I didn't learn at Hogwarts.
I don't know about centaurs, but there hasn't been a dragon in history worth losing
I
a
was
hair
taught
over.
that if you put in a good effort, you'll reap the rewards.
I'd rather scrape cauldrons than work big
Oh, we
monks.
talk about them. I honestly can't remember the last
That's
time
what
I
the
spoke to
authorities
one.
are for, they say. Huh. Try finding one.
Oh, Spout-hole Spadding's been minister for so long, I don't remember who came before him.
I'd take up herbology if it didn't involve so much dung.
Very nice young lady. Suppose I get her to stop talking about woofers and dirhams.
We treated our house elf quite well.
I prefer to do my own housework. I have a wand for being sick.
Goblins have been running Gringotts since its bricks were laid. My Hogwarts uniform still fits.
I honestly don't know how two herbology shops can prosper in one village. People must be brewing an inordinate amount of potions.
I do trust Augustus Hill's eye when it comes to fashion. True.
I used to help out at the Three Broomsticks when I was younger.
I left
Did you know
Gladrice
that
last week
Albie
with
Weeks has been designing his own livery? Such an entrepreneur, that young man.
My advice when dealing with untoward matters is in for a canut, in for a galleon.
I so enjoy chatting to Thomas Brown, but I'll never understand his fixation with Muggle Christmas carols. Perhaps it's the antiquated language that fascinates him, or the melodious din.
Hasn't been anyone as bad as Barnabas Devil in a while, has there?
My children love just women, but what I would give for a spell to keep my mother-in-law from visiting them. Oh, and the sweet she brings. It's a wonder they've a tooth left in their head.
I wonder if they'll ever find that golden snitch in Bodmin Moor.
Brothers, or oneself.
Did I see Otto Dibble from Gladrice looking sweeter with Rosie Hill the other day? Wonder if Augustus knows his wife is sweet on his daughter. Don't know excuse for generalising on flying.
Any family with more than one house elf should share in
That's
my
what my mother always said.